Hello, my name is John Smith and welcome to the Psalming Effect. Today is March the 7th, 2022. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like the world was falling apart, the world was falling down all around you? Um, Maybe some of you feel like you're in that situation. I'm sure if we we were to be on the scene in parts of the Ukraine, in almost any part of the Ukraine right now, that's the feeling we would have, is that the world is literally falling down around us. Uh, I certainly had that feeling when I was young. We lived in the city of Lubbock, Texas, where my dad was going to school, and a very severe tornado went through, and it ripped up half the city. Uh, there were quite a few lives that were lost. It was a very tragic and a very severe event. It wasn't unusual for there to be tornadoes, but this one was a really severe one. And I remember the tornadoes came through 2 nights in a row, and on the first night we naively stayed in our house, us Canadians who didn't know any better about where was the safest place. We didn't have a basement, and so I was just I remember being in my bedroom, peeking through the blinds out my living room window, through the curtain, out my, not the living room window, my bedroom window, and watching as this horrific wind was happening outside. We had a little business plaza on across the street from us, that was that had a large wooden fence, big tall wooden fence on around it. We were looking at the back side of it from our house and our side of the street. It really faced the street, the next street over. Anyways, this fence was just being torn apart by the wind, and I remember at one point watching as one entire panel of the fence was just flopping in the breeze, like a flag on a flagpole. But it was very scary because you could see how devastating the wind was, and of course there were things blowing by on the street. I mean, there were always tumbleweeds in Lubbock, Texas, but there were lots of other things, stuff from people's yards, things from people's houses, were just tumbling down the street past us. And of course, after the 2 tornadoes went through, there was a lot of devastation in the city. The Great West Life building was twisted and looked like it was going to topple, and many houses and buildings were severely damaged by this storm. But I remember that feeling, looking out my bedroom window, like the world is literally falling down around me. And so that's what I'm reminded of when I read from the book of Psalms, from Psalm 46, verses 1 to 3. This is what it says. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. Now, I haven't been in an earthquake, so I guess not in a severe earthquake, not in one where I could actually feel the earth trembling beneath my feet, but that tornado was close enough. And many of you have probably been in some of those situations. Maybe you live near the mountains and have seen or been part of an avalanche, or you've been somewhere where there's an earthquake, or where a volcano has erupted, or something that literally shakes the ground, and you see the physical world. It looks like and feels like the world is crumbling. Well, whether or not you've experienced that, we've all experienced, and we will if we haven't, those things in life where it feels like our world in which we live, figuratively, is falling down around us. It might be because of a tragedy that's happened where we've lost loved ones. It might be because of medical crisis or some other kind of trouble financially, maybe just broken relationships and or struggles at work or whatever it is. And we sometimes that's what it feels like. It just feels like the ground is shaking beneath us, and we feel very unstable in a figurative sense. I can only imagine how people in the Ukraine are feeling with bombs going off and buildings being destroyed and lives being lost and just terrible things happening in that situation. But this psalm gives us a lot of hope because it reminds us that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in time of trouble. You know, we want to be there for each other. I think about this a lot now that I have kids and grandkids. I want to be there for them if ever they're in trouble, and I will be to the degree that I can, and I'll do whatever I can do to help them in their time of trouble. The reality is that I can't always be there, and even if I am there, I'm only capable of what I'm capable of doing. You know, I'm not God. And I would hope, and I'm pretty confident, that they have that same kind of commitment for me. And we should have these kind of commitments where we'll be there for each other, where I'll be there for my family, I'll be there for my friends, I'll be there for my brothers and sisters in the faith, and when I'm in crisis, they'll be there for me. That's as it should be. And that's how God will work many times to see us through those times of crisis when our world is falling apart. But the reality is that what we often need is only what God can give. You know, God has all the wisdom to know what is best for us. You know, I might think, you know, that I'm in a crisis if my vehicle gets wrecked, and that what'll solve that is if I get another vehicle, and you might be able to help me with that. But maybe God, in His wisdom, knows that there's other things I need that are more important than that, and that's what He's gonna help me with, and He's gonna see me through the struggle of, you know, losing my vehicle or whatever the crisis is, and that's the reality and the comfort and the strength of having God, the creator of the world, present with us when our world is falling apart. God, the one who has the power, who has the authority, who has the wisdom, who has the love and the care to provide exactly what we need. And so He is our refuge and strength and a very present help in time of trouble. Dwell on that. Psalm 46 verses 1 to 3. The rest of the psalm is very beautiful as well. If you're looking for a place in the scriptures to dwell every day this week, and I hope you are, and spend time talking to God. And if you're going through a crisis right now, I hope you have someone who's there for you, like a family member, a brother and sister in the Lord, or a friend who can help you through that. But please remember that God is there with you, and He will see you through it. Lean on Him and trust in His will and in His goodness to bring about what's best for you. Make Him your refuge and strength in time of trouble. He will always be present, and He's not limited by anything that the rest of us are in being able to love and support and help you. God's grace is for you in 2022.